So about to work out with Blackie Chan, and we're hitting the summer shredding Guzman pull workout A. So if you haven't already done so, be sure to go to christianguzman.com and download that program and then donate, because it's for a good cause. We're about to get started right now. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're gonna do, first exercise is 15 reps of partial pull-ups with the neutral grip. So we're gonna do 5 reps of just regular partial from 50% of the way up to the very top. And then we're gonna do 5 of those, pause at the very bottom for 3 seconds, hold it, do another 5, pause again, do another 5, done. So we're gonna do 3 sets of that, set 2 already.
I'll make you better. I'll make you better. You'll be better with me. I'll make you better. I'll make you better than you'll ever be. I'll make you better. I'll make you better. I'll make you better.
Second exercise, we have barbell rows, but instead of using a traditional barbell, we're using an easy curl bar. So the weight is more concentrated, it's more centralized, it's a lot harder than it looks. We have 45 and a 25 on each side, 4 sets, 8 to 10, and I'm doing a double overhand grip.
Loved you in a place where there was no space and time. Yeah, we came alive. Our souls intertwined when we kissed the sky. Yeah. And you made me better, but I made you feel brand new. All the feels that you're feeling, staring at your ceiling, wondering what I'm up to. I'm better.
I'll make you better.
And I'll make you, and I'll make you.
I'll make you better. You'll be better with me. I'll make you better.
Yeah, you know, you know, you know, you know, you know.
I'll make you better than you'll ever be. I'll make you better.
So we're gonna do, this is our last set, we're gonna do 8 to 10 reps, and we'll drop it down to 1 plate on each side and hit it Pendlay. So we're gonna row it and let it come to a complete stop and row it again. We're gonna hit as many reps as we can after that.
Make you better. And I'll make you better. I'll make you better. I'll make you get along just fine here on our own. Would you offer another money mind? Oh, you wanna rob me blind? Well, I don't know this time. Oh, don't wanna just a liar. Don't wanna feed the fire. Tell me what to do.
So the next movement we're gonna move on to is a superset. It's actually standing. Instead of seated, we're gonna do a standing. And this is a hammer strength row, and we're gonna superset that with a seated high reverse grip pull down, both hammer strength. What we're gonna do is right arm first, so right arm, and then we're gonna move left arm to kind of keep the constant tension and the momentum going.
Been listening to my heart, it's leading me from the dark. Tell me what to choose. Don't wanna trust a liar. Don't wanna be the buyer. Tell me what to do. Listening to my heart.
Next exercise is lat pull downs, wide grip. I don't go too wide because if you go too wide, you hit too much rear delts and you don't activate your lats. So I go just right outside shoulder width and I pull to about my chin area. 8 to 10.
You try to keep us down, but we are backing out because the time is now. Screaming till you're breathless, till the voices drown, and we are backing down. The time is now. Do you wanna love me when you're high? Will you still want me when you're not? I've got this poison running deep in my mind, my mind.
So this superset is the next set of exercises. We have low row cables with high cable pullovers. So with the, we're gonna use the V-bar, but with this, instead of gripping in the middle, I like to grip it at the very top, and it kind of gives a different form of engagement. Kind of lean forward a little bit, stretch it.
But maybe you just know what I want. I've got this feeling you've got something to hide, to hide. I'm wishing on you. I'm wishing on you.
I'm gonna drop the weight, the pullovers, because I want to concentrate on the squeeze. Same thing, I like to grip it at a different angle. Lean forward a little bit, move down. Okay, so next exercise we have, we're finished with back, is rear delt flies. We're gonna do a standing, bent over. So we're gonna be in the exact same position as our bent over rows, where we're doing rear delt flies. 3 sets, 8 to 12.
My crazies are crazy, but it's all with you, with you. I'm wishing on you. I'm wishing on you.
Okay, so next exercise we have is incline dumbbell curls. I've never done these pretty much like in my entire life, but I've got 15s here, and my biceps are actually really exhausted just from all the pull-up movements. But we're gonna hit 4 sets, 8 to 12, and I'm gonna stay with these 15s.
I'm wasted on you, on you. I'm wasted. I'm wasted on you, on you. I'm wasted on you, with you, babe. I'm wishing on you. I'm wishing on you.
Alright, so just finished an awesome workout via Christian's little pull program. It was pretty good?
Yeah, it was solid.
I'm tired, man. I'm really tired. So today's topic, if you see in the title, we're talking about power building versus powerlifting. I brought a power lifter, obviously, and a power builder as well. Russell, or he, obviously, you guys already know. If you don't, subscribe to Russell. But we're kind of talking about the differences in gains and stuff like that. So if you want to elaborate on, what it's like to train like a power lifter.
Okay. So basically, like, I think I'm going to talk in terms of, like, the difference between lifting like a powerlifter and the difference between lifting like a bodybuilder. So, like, I'd say, like, when you're lifting like a powerlifter, obviously the main focus is squat, bench, and deadlift. And basically, what my focus is whenever I'm powerlifting is try to manipulate a couple of variables in order to make myself stronger, whether it's volume or it's my set or rep scheme or or my frequency, which means, like, how many times I'm squatting, benching, and deadlifting a week. And bodybuilding is more like, isolation work in terms of, like, focusing on specific muscle groups like biceps, triceps, chest, and stuff like that. So the difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting, in my overall opinion, is the fact that you are specifically training only for squat, bench, and deadlift.
Right. So, there's obviously there's a key difference: rep schemes, goals, results, everything.
Yeah.
When you're a powerlifter, most powerlifters don't really care how they look. Right?
No, they don't.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Except Russell, because Russell's done bodybuilding, he's done powerlifting, he does both. So Russell's more of the aesthetic powerlifter. So that's where we tie in power builder. For, kind of example, it's kind of like a mesh in between powerlifting and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate on that?
Okay, so, like, the way I like to look at it is the fact that I try to find a synergy between the two. So it's like, a bigger muscle is most likely going to be the stronger muscle. So I try to tie that in. So if I'm working my triceps frequently, they're probably going to get bigger, which means they might get stronger as well. And that's going to assist me in making my bench a little bit better. So the difference, like what most powerlifters do is whenever they're doing squat, bench, and deadlift, they only focus on variance of that movement. Mm-hmm. I tend to focus on the variance of the movement as well as doing isolation work. So I'm going to focus on tricep, I'm going to focus on shoulder, because that's going to go into making my bench a little bit better. But most powerlifters, it's more, like, I'm going to do a close grip bench. I mean, it's going to help with your triceps, but I just feel like, adding that isolation work is also going to help as well. So
for, like, let's say a newbie with zero experience all the way up to 2 years, and they're trying to obviously be strong and stuff like that, what would you recommend, like, the best, quickest way possible to achieve that? Yep. So let's say they have a goal of 1 day competing in powerlifting, and obviously they have zero gains because they just started out. What do you recommend is best? Do you recommend powerlifting to start off, or do you recommend power building or training like a bodybuilder? No, I would definitely recommend powerlifting, because you're mastering. In my opinion, you master like compound movements, bench, squat, and deadlift, and from there, as you start pushing into, like, being more aesthetic and you want to do more isolation work, you can move on into doing isolation work. So I feel like whenever I started lifting, it was more strength based. Right. So I'd build up my bench, squat, and deadlift. However, whenever I started transitioning more into isolation work, my muscles were already developed from doing those compound movements. So, like, even like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was a powerlifter before he was a bodybuilder. So like Frank Columbo too.
Yeah, all those guys, like, they mastered bench, squat, and deadlift, and from there they moved on to isolation work, and they were able to have a stronger foundation because of those compound movements.
So obviously you see, like, there's a key difference in the way that I train versus the way that Russell trains. If you look in the thumbnail, you already know Russell's thickness everywhere is a dramatic difference. Obviously he's the progressive overload type guy. I, on the other hand, I train in both categories. So I train in the power building category, which means that I have one primary lift in the beginning of every single day that I train. I train everything twice a week. And so it's like pull, legs, push. So every single time that I have a workout, which I train 6 days a week, my very first movement is my power movement. My rep schemes are always 6 and below, and then everything else can kind of trickle down. It can go 8 or maybe even 10, and if I still have a weakness on an exercise that I want to train, I'll still stick with 6, maybe even 4 reps, and I'll kind of, like Russell said, isolate it and kind of find that synergy and kind of combine both to where I'm still gaining strength and also gaining size as well. So I do both. We have very different results. We have very different, goals. Yeah. And so, I'm going for more of the aesthetic, but obviously I still want to be able to perform. I still want to look big and also be strong as well. Russell's already strong. He's already big. So, he's at the point where powerlifting is his main concern. He's got the muscle mass, so he's gonna stay with powerlifting. So that's kind of like where we are with the newbie all the way up to 2 years. So intermediate lifters, 4 to 6 years, maybe 2 to even 5 years. What do you recommend? So let's say he's done his powerlifting. He's got a decent amount of muscle. Obviously, nutrition is key, guys. 80% of your work is nutrition. You don't eat, you don't grow, you don't get stronger. Simple as that. So for intermediate lifters from, let's say, 2 years all the way up to 5 years, their goal is, they're done with powerlifting, they have a good amount of mass, and they want to get bigger. Obviously, we know that the longer you lift, the harder your gains. Yeah. What do you recommend then to, they want to transition to a power builder look, like a bodybuilding look? Yeah, so that goes more into power building at that point. So like as I said, for the beginners, we're doing powerlifting, and then like that's the way I approach it. Now once you start mastering those compound movements, that's when I feel like you should start implementing like isolation work when it comes to like now you're like working on your biceps, you're like focusing more on your triceps, little stuff like that. So once you get to the intermediate level, I'd say start introducing power building for sure. So like you said, man, like when you start your workout, you do a heavy compound movement, and then from there you start doing isolation work. So that's what I would say for intermediate lifters. I'd say start doing power building for sure. Okay, so last topic I really want to talk about is I think the biggest misconception in bodybuilding or aesthetics in general is a thick waist. So for power lifters who lift super heavy, Matt Ogus, okay? Matt Ogus is not a power lifter, but he's a he's a power builder, right? He's super strong, super aesthetic, and has a relatively slim waist. Russwole has a pretty slim waist when he diets down. What do you think that misconception is? Like, does powerlifting give you a bigger waist? Nah. that's diet. Yeah, absolutely. So that is the biggest misconception, guys. Like, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to deadlift, I don't want to do rack pulls, I don't want to barbell row because I don't want a thick waist. Like, guys, that has no fucking, correlation with how you are. You'd have to make your actual bone bigger. Exactly. You have to get your bone bigger. Like, that's just all body fat. That's just all like muscle mass. Yeah. So at the end of the day, guys, it's there are a lot of different ways you can train. It just depends on what your results are. So the number one thing that we all recommend, especially for even beginner lifters, right, is programming. Yeah. Structure. Russell's going to tell you that anybody can go into the gym and knock out maybe 6 exercises for back, 4 exercises for rear delts, and stuff like that. But once you get bigger, once you get stronger, and you've kind of had a lot of experience in the gym, your muscles require a lot more volume. Yeah. A lot more progressive overload, which means overall weight and how much you lift per week or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So, progression is key, guys. You can't go in there. Russell programs. I program too sometimes, especially when I'm bulking, but I program to the point where you guys need to progress. Just because, you have a pump in the gym, right, doesn't mean you're getting bigger. No. Like, that doesn't mean shit. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's all about making the results. It's about getting the results. You can't bench 315 or 225. Let's say you bench 225 for 8 reps when you're 150 pounds. If you're 180 pounds, 30 pounds onto your muscle mass or onto your body frame, you should be able to bench 225 maybe 15, 16 times. Because if you're going into the gym and a year later you're coming back bigger, you should be able to at least lift a lot more. Mm-hmm. So Russell's going to tell you, progression is key, guys. And one last thing. Yeah. What do you think about deloads? You need them. I like to think that I can handle whatever comes my way. Let's elaborate on what a deload is. Okay, so deload is basically just reducing the workload that you're used to. So I like to think that I can handle whatever. I think I'm Superman. So I think I can't be touched, in terms of in the weight room, right? So I have a high workload, but sometimes, man, I just get really, really, really fatigued, and I think people don't realize how fatigued you are as you go on. You start compounding your workload, right? And you get really fatigued, and I just I never really notice it. But my coach will say, hey man, the weight's not moving as fast as it normally is. You need to take a deload. So that means you just need to reduce the workload that you're normally used to. So you need a rest. You can't just keep hammering yourself every single day because you're not giving yourself a chance to rebuild. Giving your central nervous system a time to kind of recuperate. Yeah. Because, we talk about fitness. I think I stress this a lot, man. Like, fitness is not just a phase. Fitness is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're constantly using your body every single day, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. You're using your body for every single little thing. And especially putting extra workload, like lifting weights and stuff like that, your body gets fatigued to the point where you're just not going to perform how you used to, especially when you age. And when you lift heavy for a very, very long time, your body gets tired. And that's why a lot of people say, man, I feel weak today. I feel weak today.
Exactly.
You should not feel like that, because your body's a system that adapts to a lot of stuff. And if you feel like that, you know, you're lifting 20 pounds less, but the same rep scheme, and you're bigger than 6 months ago, then there's something wrong there. So I take deloads. I definitely recommend every 6 weeks, you say, one deload. And, you know, you kind of have to brush aside your ego, because deload is, you know, you lift, what, 65% of your working max, right?
Yeah, something like that. It depends. It can vary. It just means, like, you know, you're not doing as much. Because, like, I know I had to take a deload, like, I think, like, 2 weeks ago. I just thought, I was like, no, just a couple bad workouts in a row. But that, if it's a pattern, you're going to have to step back a little bit.
Some people take extra caffeine or something like that. And it kills them, man. It kills them. So
exactly.
I always deload. But anyways, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this little topic. I thought I'd kind of bring in a professional, because he's, you know, one of the world record lifters. You know what I'm saying? But hope you all enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Is your head spinning? Is your heart racing? Is there fire?